Having a great sales team is literally the best thing for a small business owner. However, having a not great sales team is the worst. It feels like you are constantly working hard and can never seem to get ahead because they can't close the deals. So in today's video, we're going to talk about how to train and onboard your Rockstar sales team so that they can close deals for you when you're on vacation.
Time for spring break. You gonna leave me hanging? Boom.
When you're seeing clients.
This is Julie. Julie, this is Rachel.
Hi.
When you are sick in bed.
He doesn't have a fever, but he says his stomach hurts and he's seeing spots.
What's the matter, Ferris?
Papa?
Whatever is going on, you have confidence that your business can continue to sell. If you are new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell notification so you can get notified every time we release new content. Hi, I'm Amy Walker. I am a client acquisition specialist, and my job is to help you find the simplest path to consistently acquiring your ideal clients. Before we jump into it, I would love to hear from you. Which of the following best describes your business? 1, I want to hire a sales team. I want to make sure I do it well. 2, I already have a sales team and want them to be better. Or 3, my sales team kills it. Go ahead and type it in the comments below. There are some areas of your business that you can kind of set it and forget it. Your sales team is not one. The sales team requires consistent massaging. You've got to consistently be working with them because it comes down to individual people and their motivation levels, their mindset, what's going on in their life outside of it. All of that comes in to affect your sales results. So this is an area of your business that can have a lot of inconsistency if you're not really strategic with it. I've talked to many small business owners who have told me stories like, Amy, I hired a sales guy once and I paid him for 6 months, and at the end of it, he didn't close a deal, but I felt like I had lost a ton of money. Or I hired a really great salesperson and then they bailed and left me and I was stuck, going back to doing it all myself. And on both stories, both sides of this story, the end result is always the same. The business owner feels like they just have to do all of the sales. And what I want you to understand is we will all have multiple sales experiences and we've just got to massage it so that we can make sure that we are keeping our business growing and keeping it thriving. So in this video, I'm going to go through with you the steps that I take in order to create an amazing sales team, get them trained, keep them performing, and make sure that we are always on the right track as a team. My first step is actually always my first step when it comes to hiring. It's to get really clear on your culture, on your values, and on who you are and what you stand for as a company. And the reason why I put that first is because I write that into the job post. I write that into the interview questions. I write that into the training, and it's part of everything that we do. You can have a good salesperson who will not be a good fit on your team. And oftentimes it's because it's a misfit of culture. So we want to make sure that we're creating a really great environment and that we're protecting that. One bad apple can spoil the bunch when it comes to your sales team. Like really, one negative person can bring this amazing team and just suck the whole thing down. So we've got to be very protective of that energy. The second thing that you do is also going to be some pre-work. It's going to be to create your sales processes and your sales systems. A great closer does not want to come in and do anything other than close. They don't want to build your systems. They don't want to come up with your standard operating procedures. They don't want to have to figure things out. They just simply want to be able to come in, you teach them how it works, and they follow the plan and they close the deals. They are hungry for sales and you want them to be. So if they're doing anything else, like if they're having to create a marketing material to explain something that you don't have, or they're having to create an order form that you don't have, or they're having to figure out how to solve a problem in processing orders, all of that stuff should not be on their plate. That should be done before you bring them on, so that as soon as they get there, all they have to do is get out there and start closing the deals. Third, you're going to set your sales scale-up plan. And let me show you how that works. The last thing that I do to help ensure someone being successful on my sales team is I create a scale-up plan. So I'm going to show you what this looks like here. In the scale up plan, what I'm trying to combat is the problem of having to fill a sales pipeline. You know, if your sales cycle is 3 months, you're going to hire a new person, and I wouldn't expect them to close for 4 months, because the first month they're just figuring things out, then they're filling their pipeline successfully, and people will be closing in 4 months. But here's the problem. I don't want you to get to 4 months and realize that this person is not a fit for you. I want you to realize in month 1 or month 2 that they're not a fit, so you can replace them, and you're not wasting time and money working with a salesperson who is never going to work out for you. So what I've done is I've created this scale up plan. I call it my sales standards. So I go through and I look at what do they need to pass off on product knowledge. What skills do they need to be able to talk about there, and I rate their calls. So we'll have someone on the team go through, listen to their calls, and rate them on product knowledge. Then I look at the different types, and this one that I'm showing you is an old one. So we had product knowledge. In here we also had a certain type of event that they were selling at. Then we train them on the system, and we rate them on the system. And then we have this progression timeline where I look at it and I say, okay, in week 1, here's what I need you to be able to do successfully. In week 2, here's what I need you to be able to do successfully. In week 3, this is where you should be at. And we go on until we hit the end of that sales cycle window so that we can make sure that our people are being successful. Now, with a commission-based salesperson, what will happen is this will also be a good tool for them to help them see if they're making it. And because they're not making money until they close, they want to get to the close as quickly as possible. And if they see like, oh, I didn't do well in week 1, I didn't do well in week 2, I didn't do well in week 3, sometimes they'll take themselves out of the mix as well because they're self-filtering. They also want to be in a successful position. It's really important when we're hiring commission-based salespeople that we're being very transparent. We're transparent with what their earning potential is. We're transparent with how we pay them. We're transparent with all of that so that they can dig in and be successful as quickly as possible. Now we're going to actually start training these new people. I recommend that you break up your new salesperson training into multiple days. So trying to do one long day where you teach them everything they need to know is not really an effective way to train. We don't really learn that way. The best way that we learn is we learn and then we do, and then we learn and then we do, and we learn and we do until we really know how to do the things that you're teaching us. So the other thing that you're up against is you want to get your people on the phones as fast as possible. The longer it takes before they actually get on calls, the more that their fear builds up. So every day that they're not on the phone, they're feeling more nervous and more afraid about getting on the phone. So what I like to do is I like to split up my training into days, and I try to get them on the phone as fast as possible. So here's kind of the breakdown of my training. On day number 1, we'll train on culture, and we'll train on our sales script. That night, they have the task to practice the sales script with each other. And so they spend some time after hours practicing that sales script with each other. On day number 2, we're gonna go over product knowledge, and we're gonna go over the scheduling process. And then they get on the phone and they do their first 10 phone calls on day number 2. On day number 3, we come back and we do some of the more finesse type training around the calls that they'll be doing, and we get them back on the phones, and then we jump back at the end of their day and we go through and we answer questions about what has come up. On day number 4, we go through things like processing orders, sending contracts and agreements, all of that kind of administrative side of the sales position. We'll do that. And we also train on the sales scale-up plan. And that's really how the training lays out. Day number 5, they're just making calls all day. And then at the end of the day, we get on and we answer questions. And then from there, they're in the flow. Number 5 tip that you can do to help your sales team be better trained is to have salespeople shadow successful salespeople. Now that might be you, but it might be another rock star that you have on your team, but letting them listen in on calls, join in, do 3-ways, and just just be there to listen to their talk track. It's so important that you get the words and the flow inside of your mind. And think about it, the times when you've heard somebody say something, you went, oh, that was good. I'm gonna say that next time in my call. And then you implement that into your talk track and it becomes part of how you communicate. You want your new salespeople or your struggling salespeople to have that opportunity. So make sure you're giving them a chance to really be able to plug in. Tip number 6, hold weekly sales meetings. That's going to be an opportunity for you to go over goals and successes and challenges, what the focus is for the team each week, what lead flow is coming in, what to be aware of, but it's also a time for you to do training and role plays. Role playing is one of the best ways that you can continue to improve your sales team because they get to play with each other, they get to share ideas of what's working. Role playing is something that most people feel awkward when they get started doing it, but it is one of the best ways to build your skills. So I'm a big proponent of it. Every week in our sales meeting, there is a training component, and it's usually coming out of what are the salespeople bringing me? You know, is there a situation coming up that they don't know how to resolve, or is there a question that they have? And then we use what they're experiencing in order to build out that training. Tip number 7, create a safe space for people to ask questions and express any challenges that they're having. If they feel like they're going to get in trouble or get fired when they have a question or they're struggling, they will not stick around and they won't be successful on your team. But if you give them that opportunity, they will plug in and they'll utilize that, and it helps you to see out of the people who are maybe new or struggling, which ones want it and which ones don't. Because the ones who want to be successful, they will be aggressive in trying to get answers to their questions. Tip number 8, evaluate performance regularly. Let your salespeople know how they're doing. Give them an assessment. Here's where I feel like you're strong. Here's where I feel like you're weak. In 3 months, we're gonna talk again. I want you to do these things and I want you to work on getting up here. If they're underperforming, that 3 months would be way too long. It needs to be like weekly for someone who's underperforming. But for a new person or even just a good solid person, about every 3 months is a good time to be able to come in and assess how they're doing and help them set their benchmarks for the next quarter. My final tip for you is don't try to rescue your underperforming salespeople. This is really important. When it comes to creating an amazing team, part of it is you have to be willing to prune the things that are dead branches in your bush. And if you've got somebody who's really struggling, even if you really like them, even if they're your very good friend, even if you think they are pretty much Mother Teresa walking on the earth today, they deserve to be in a position where they can be successful. And if that's not on your team, then you need to prune as soon as you realize that. So don't try to rescue all of your salespeople. Don't try to ensure that everybody is successful on the team. Create an environment where people can be extremely successful. And then when you see someone that is not, have the conversation sooner than later, because it's not fun for them. It causes so much self-doubt. They feel guilty. They feel nervous. I mean, it's really prolonging that period of time is just making them miserable for months. So do the right thing for you and for them. And if it's not a fit, address it as soon as you realize, and then allow them to be able to go find a position where they can be extremely successful, and allow you to be able to find a person who can be extremely successful on your team. If you're liking this content, go ahead and click the like button and let me know. And if you want more help with your sales and marketing, go ahead and take our Sales and Marketing GPS. If you know where you are and you know where you want to go, my team can help you map out the step-by-step guide. Just by taking the assessment, you're going to be able to get an 8-page improvement plan to help you know exactly what you need to do to grow your business. All right, my friends, thank you so much for being here. If you have not subscribed yet, do it. It's a great chance for you to be able to get content on a regular basis to help you grow your business. Thanks so much, everyone.